welcome to Fibery. My name is Sarah. This is episode 39, take 9. It's been a rugged recording experience, to say the least. So I have dealt with deer flies and manual focus and light and familial interruptions, and now I'm hoping I can just move through this with ease and sound articulate, which I haven't been able to in the past. Two things have come up. One is I don't have internet, so I haven't been able to check the rap threads and pull information about who's introduced themselves. And I haven't done any show notes. And I think part of that is summer laziness. I'm doing all this work for a couple other classes, and I've been really enthralled in this young adult fiction series, and I don't know where the past 3 weeks they went screaming by. My husband was here, he left today, so I haven't been organized. It was so funny because I was conversing with Claire of New Hampshire Knits about something, I think maybe the HAP, and we were just talking about podcasting, and I was like, oh, I love your podcast, you're always so organized. And so are so many other podcasters. They seem very pulled together, organized. They have their segments. They know what they want to talk about. They always remember to talk about other people's knit-alongs and other people's podcasts. And sometimes I feel like I can just barely remember to show you what I'm working on. So, that being said, I'm going to try to remember. There's two things that I want to remember to talk about that are outside this realm of work. And hopefully I'll remember to do that. For this episode, I want to talk about finished objects, works in progress, spinning, acquisitions, and I'm going to let go of Textiles in Time this week because I found that I had been thinking about podcasting, but I hadn't been able to pull together a Textiles in Time, and that was kind of like a barrier. I wasn't able to record, and as soon as I said, oh, that's all right, I will do a Textiles in Time another, next week or whatever, the next episode, I was kind of able to pull myself together and record. So there will be no Textiles in Time. That being said, one of my projects, the Hap-Along, always ends up kind of being a Textiles in Time because sometimes I tangent a little bit about the sheep breeds that I'm working with. So, did I welcome everybody? Welcome. And did I tell you how much I appreciate reaching out, messages, comments, likes on Instagram, however you want to connect? It is so appreciated on this end. And I had just commented to my mom the other day because I've been living down here, and I think she's getting a little bit more of a feel for all of the world outside, the Fibery world, how grateful I am to have the technology that allows me to connect with other fiber enthusiasts and knitters. So that's you. Let's start with finished objects. So I did finish, I finished The Color Affection by Vera Valimaki. This is a shawl, and it's kind of knit with a series of short rows and stripes. Hi, sweet Bella. Are you okay? It's been rather hot, so I've been walking Belle later in the evenings, like around 7:30 or 8, and she doesn't understand because she's used to walking at like 4, like walking at 3, eating at 4, and then that's it. So she's kind of adjusting to her new schedule. So Color Affection by Vera Valimaki. I'm calling this my color defection because I've knit it in a series of gray colors. So I've knit it in a charcoal with a color they call pewter, which is kind of a tarnished silver, and then a mist color, which is a light gray. And here it is. I have no specs for you on how length, but I can tell you it is massive. I'm still going, for those of you who are listening. I'm still working on it. I'm in love with it. I can wear it like a hat, a traditional hat, so I can throw it around my shoulders and I can tie it on my waist. So, I don't know how I'm going to wear it. It's so big. Let's see. I don't know. I know I don't need to wear it right now because it's like 80 some odd degrees out. But it's massive. So it's kind of almost like a blanket. So that's finished. I knit that on a size 6 US, I believe. I'm kind of bad about giving that information out. And it is knit out of the Gotland Wool Company from Vermont, which is really the driving piece of information I always want to know is, well, what's the yarn, where is it from, and how can I get it? While I was finishing that, I did work on and finish a wee liesel, which is by Smoted. Here it is. This is kind of a muted minty green color, and it's a little child's cardigan. I did the 6 to 12 month size that's knit in the Feather and Fan. The only adjustment I made to this is I did not make the sleeves as long as was projected in the pattern because I didn't have enough yarn. So I have 2 button choices I've been thinking about for this. Sorry, my hair is driving me nuts these days. It's very long and very heavy, and it gets in my way. So I have this button, which is just a little leaf. It's a green leaf that's painted on a black background, and these are distributed by Peace Fleece. And then, so there would be 3 that kind of come down from the neck every inch, basically. And there's just 3, and then it kind of flares open at the bottom. And then I have a Beatrix Potter button. This one has a kitten on it, so I have 2 kittens, and then I have a Peter Rabbit. My husband is totally voting for the Beatrix Potter for the cuteness factor, and I kind of like the green for the matchy factor, but he was not buying the fashion statement. He was like, no, Beatrix Potter all the way. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that, but this sweater knit up so quickly. It was really easy to remember. It didn't take very long. It's knit top down, and so I kind of felt like the investment of time was worth the investment for wearing. So I don't think she'll be wearing this for very long, but it's a beautiful little charming sweater, but it didn't take me eons on a size 2 needle. The other thing I finished was the back of the Angostura by Isolde Teague. It's kind of Isolde all the time here. I'm knitting this out of 13 Mile Farm, which is a predator-friendly yarn in Montana. These are all naturally dyed. This is a dusky plum color, and the real piece de resistance of this vest is the traveling stitch detail that kind of works into Celtic knots. So the back has a center traveling stitch detail. I think if I pull it, it'll be easier to see. And that sits right in the middle of your back and kind of gives it a little bit of shaping. The front has 2 traveling stitches that kind of go up the center on either side of the bust and create like darts almost. So it's a real flattering shape. I did take some notes from the Rav pages. I made mine a little bit longer. At least I'm hoping it's a little bit longer and it doesn't throw off the fit, but it just seems exceptionally long to me right now, although my husband held it up and it fell right where I wanted it to fall. She did a really clever short row shaping for the shoulders, kind of rounds it out, and I love that. I think it just looks really slick and finished. And then I also love her finishing detail on the armholes. So this is a reverse stockinette stitch I-cord. So, sorry, I heard my mom down at the barn. So I won't need to finish these armholes, and I love that little bit of extra detail. So that's everything that's done. On the needles, I resurrected this sock, which is the Waffle Cream by Ann Hansen. I've knit these before. I have been knitting this for a while, and I was kind of stymied on the heel that I was turning. And I'm turning the heel. Yay! So you can see there's a detail. These socks are knit in kind of a slip stitch pattern. I don't know, a broken rib pattern maybe is a better descriptor. And then it has this traveling what's the word I'm looking for? When you knit through the back loop. So the stitches, the cable kind of pops up and on relief on the fabric. And these are knit out of a Cordial alpaca blend from Serenity Farm in Michigan, and they are gray. So I have one finished, as some of you may know, but here's what the finished object is hopefully going to look like. So yeah, once I get that heel turned, it'll be something I can easily take with me and just knit and not have to look at it. The last thing on my needles is the half Hansel. Hansel? There's a great Looney Tunes character, Witch Hazel, and I remember growing up the Hansel and Gretel cartoon, and she always would go, Hansel? And so every time I say the name of this pattern, I say Hansel, just because of Witch Hazel. But anyway, I digress into my nerdiness. So, the Hap Along with Knit British has since ended, but I am not deterred, and I am pushing forward on finishing this project. In fact, it's kind of been keeping me up at night a little bit. I wrote to my friend Sarah of Upton Yarns, who's traveling, and I had this like long, whingy email about my anxiety and my knitting, and I was like, God, this is just so petty. But I was so, I don't know the word to describe it. I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't pull myself together to get this project where it wanted to be, where it needed to be for myself. That was my own issue. So anyway, and I'm going to tell you why now. So I had the Hog Island all done. Okay, let me start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start, according to Fräulein Maria. But this shawl I have themed around American conservation breeds. So all of the yarn in it comes from breeds in the United States that are either critical or endangered. This includes, for me, the Hog Island, Navajo Churro, American Jacob, Santa Cruz, and Gulf Coast Native. So I included all the classified feral breeds, and then two breeds that were considered endangered, according to the American Livestock Conservancy. So if you're curious to learn more about the feral breeds and this project, I recorded a segment for the Knit British podcast because she was hosting the Hap Along, and I was really pleased to be included in her last episode, her latest episode, but her last episode before the Hap Along ended. And I was actually, in fact, over the moon to be included in that. I very much respect Louise and the work she does. Her podcast, the fodder for thought, that she gives me when I'm listening, and what she inspires me to do, and her like-mindedness in the yarns and the way she talks about fiber. So, where was I going? Oh yeah, so you can go listen to that if you would like to learn more about the different breeds that I've included. So today, I've been able to knit with the Hog Island. This is the American Jacob. This is the white. This was hand-prepped, hand-spun by Emily of Fibertown. And then I have the Santa Cruz as the next kind of color. So the Hog Island is a brown, the Navajo Churro is a dark brown, the American Jacob is a white, and the Santa Cruz is an ashy brown. The Santa Cruz is what kind of was keeping me up. I couldn't make any progress with it, and I was just kind of getting down about it. It was like being a runner, and this is like a marathon for me. So there's a lot of mental work that's going into this, and discipline. And I was on a hill, and I could not pace up that hill with this Santa Cruz, put it that way. So I think I showed you on the last episode what the raw fleece looked like, and I washed that raw fleece, and I'm looking for my finished product. And I went through a series of different prep options for it. I'm stuck. Originally, I had planned to mini comb all of it, but that was just tedious work, and again, I felt like I was on that hill and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was frustrated, and that was my own fiber demon to figure out. So I thought, well, I'll put it on the drum carder and I'll see what I think. Because the woman I bought this from, Drum Cards, she's drum carded it before. And I didn't like that product either. So what I started to do is I put it on the drum carder and then I would put it on the mini combs. And I got something that I liked. So I have 44 precious yards of Santa Cruz fleece here. And, sorry, I think I got a bite or something. The one thing I wanted to see if I could capture was just how elastic this yarn is. Sorry, I'm looking at the camera. I mean the screen. And it really is truly how Deb Robeson describes it in both her blog post on Santa Cruz and also in the Fleece and Fiber Source book. So I've been enjoying knitting with it. I have, like I said, 44 yards. It's recommended you have 64. I'm hoping I can get by with 44. So, because I don't want to climb that hill again. The only thing I have left to do is to spin some Hog Island, and that's all prepared from Finger Lakes Woolen Mill. So if you're interested, I got the Santa Cruz from Blue Oak Canyon in California, and I am in contact with Lynn to do an interview on the podcast. The American Jacob, Emily got it, I believe, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. The Navajo Churro, Heidi Undead Yarns, or Knitty Girl 1, gifted that to me, and I thought that was kind of serendipitous and perfect. So maybe I thought it was providential. It was meant to be. So it's great. So I've kind of the community wrapped up in this, and I'm really psyched to finish it. So the last thing I need to do is spin enough to do the applied border. So again, it's the Hof Hansel, and I just dropped my yarn on the floor where the dog lies down. So yeah, so I've been able to make some significant progress on that. Let me put it away before anything else happens to it. So that's my marathon right there. And I hope that people who run marathons don't take offense. What was it? I guess it was the Olympics where people took offense that knitters were somehow comparing themselves to the high work that athletes do. And that, of course, I'm just trying to use a metaphor here. So that's all that's on the needles right now. Like I said, I was having a lot of angst about that hap, and I want to get it off the needles. I don't know, as I've kind of progressed, I've been knitting for almost 20 years now. And as I've progressed through this, I used to have tons of projects, and now I have 2. And I think I had started working on another one, and I had that hap, and I wasn't doing anything with it, and it was really bothering me. And so I don't know what that was about. But anyway, there it was, kind of hanging around in my fiber psyche. So acquisitions. Well, yeah, I mean, that was kind of spinning and so forth. So I'll be spinning the Hog Island next. That's spinning. So acquisitions were, I got sent a lovely gift from Piper Mom, who's in upstate New York, and an avid corresponder and commenter with myself and the group. And she sent me a sampling of Stansborough Grey. For those of you who don't know what Stansborough Grey are, they are a specific breed of sheep in New Zealand on a specific farm, and all of the woolens in the Lord of the Rings were made from this fleece. I know. Hold your freak flags. So not only did she send me the fleece, she sent me some of her homemade soap. And I wasn't expecting this, and she does say this in her note to me, and that is that it seemed short when she got it. So here it is. I know, look at all those beautiful grays. I know. I don't know if I can find a staple length for you or not. I thought, with its Scotland heritage, and I don't know, I thought it would be these long, lustrous locks. But what she says is, have fun with this Stansborough Grey fleece. And I'd love to know what you think of it, and hope you'll be able to make something. I found the length a little hard to work with, on shortness rather, but once carded it spun like pure silver. Music to my ears. I tucked in a bar of my homemade soap. It's my favorite Hope your summer's going well. Piper Mom. And she does say that they came as is, slightly washed in cold water only. So I don't know if it doesn't feel heavily lanolin-y to me. So I may just throw this through the drum carder and see what I come up with. But anyway, come on. Starensboro Gray. Now I've knit with the yarn that this farm produces. It's the Mithril. I knit my Burnham Wood capelet out of it, and stuff was just magic. So I'm really looking forward to this project. Of course, when the hap is done. I know, I should just do it because it's fun and it's there. So anyway, that was the only thing I got this time around. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was a blogger. I feel like her rad name is Lissy. I could be wrong. But the name of her blog is Knitting the Stash. And she's a pretty regular blogger and has a lot to share about her experience. And right now she's working with a Hog Island fleece, and she's kind of reached out to me and sent me a few questions to answer. And she features different yarn producers and farmers on her blog, and I just kind of felt like it would be a great connection for people out there that are looking to get into breed-specific yarns or preparing their own fleece, or just want to, you know, have another resource to tap into. I wanted to put that out there for you guys to check out. So it's called Knitting the Stash, and I'll link it in the show notes. And I've been enjoying reading that blog. Sometimes at night in bed, I'll just pull up whatever's there, and I do that with Kate Davies too. That's nighttime reading for me. So, so Knitting the Stash, Knit British. If you haven't had a chance to listen to her, I'd highly recommend her. I know I said a while back that I would make a list, and I will do that. But those two right now are kind of out there and permeating my universe. So, I think I probably said so a lot, but I think I'm going to wrap it up. And I will hopefully have an Angostura vest next time I talk to you, and a hap. So cross your fingers for the 44 yards of Santa Cruz, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care. Bye.